My full name is Deborah Colleen Henry. I was named after my great-grandmother whose family came from Ireland in the late 1800s. I grew up in New Jersey and moved to Utah almost 5 years ago. I have one younger brother who is also a civil engineer. Mom worked running a nonprofit food shelter called Open Door. She was so committed to Open Door that when I was homesick and on weekends and on summer break, I was with her at the shelter. She was always trying to help one family or another by going food shopping for them, giving them rides, or dropping off bags of clothes. I saw a lot of difficult situations and living environments quite young that helped me feel rich in what was apparently a penny-pinching time in my parents' lives. My appreciation for democratic values started at a very young age. Dad was a captain in the New York City Fire Department for 33 years like his dad before him. My Uncle Eddie became a firefighter as well, along with 3 of his sons. Eddie lost his youngest boy, Joey, on 9/11. Dad was a first responder that day, too, and we didn't see him for weeks after 9/11. He spent all of his free time at funerals and down at Ground Zero looking for bodies. Dad was recently diagnosed with lung cancer, and I'll be forever grateful for the work and tenacity of his fellow firefighter union members who went to D.C. and demanded health care for 9/11 first responders. My parents settled in New Jersey before I was born so that their kids would have good public schools, even though it meant Dad had an hour-and-a-half commute for over 25 years. I earned a scholarship to Rutgers, New Jersey's only public college. I'm very proud of the fact that my brother and I are the products of public education. In college, I took classes in everything from medicine to law to computer science until 9/11 happened, at which point I decided I wanted to be a structural engineer so that buildings wouldn't fall down on firefighters or innocent people anymore. In college, I started to realize how access to transportation is a fundamental part of how well a community functions. Certain communities have access to less developed infrastructure than others, and it induces or exacerbates existing social ills. I realized that a lot of the families my mom and I worked with when I was growing up had major transportation woes, keeping them from taking care of their families. I started to realize how much good engineering, good transportation, and good access for communities was a function of politics. The more I became aware of this, the more frustrated I became with the many roadblocks to my ability to be an effective civil engineer. So I started getting more involved in politics. After years of political activism, I feel the obvious next step for me is state party leadership, so that I can empower others to find a way to address the unacceptable problems that they encounter that they want to help change. Please help me in this effort by electing me the next vice chair of the Utah State Democratic Party.